Imagine this. You're going about your day, nothing unusual, just an ordinary moment. And in the blink of an eye, your life changes forever. One wrong step, one freak accident, and suddenly you're trapped, confined, with no way out. Every breath becomes a battle. Every second feels like an eternity. You're alive, but the walls are closing in. And the world above has no idea you're even down there. This isn't a movie. It's real, and it's terrifying. Today on Mystery Spectrum US, we're diving into the story of a man who experienced the unimaginable. Trapped alive after a freak accident, forced to fight for survival in conditions so extreme most people couldn't even imagine. It all began on an overcast afternoon in rural Pennsylvania. Mark was working alone on a property he had recently bought, performing routine excavation work. Mark had spent most of his life working with his hands: construction, landscaping, maintenance. He knew the risks of heavy machinery and shifting dirt. As he was moving a large pile of soil and debris, the ground beneath him suddenly gave way. One moment he was standing on solid earth. The next he was falling into a narrow cavity, a space barely wide enough to fit his body. He was buried from the waist down. The walls of dirt pressed against him, constricting his chest, his stomach, his limbs. Panic set in immediately as he realized the terrifying truth. Minutes turned into hours. The suffocating darkness and the weight of the earth pressing from every side were as terrifying as death itself. Mark had no phone, no one around to hear his cries. The silence of the land above was deafening. He focused on breathing slowly. The day turned into night, the shadows of the barn looming over him. He shouted, hammered against the walls of earth, but nothing budged. Mark began to notice tiny movements in the soil. Using all his strength, he started to chip away, creating a small cavity above his head. But what happened next will shock you. As Mark was digging, a secondary collapse occurred. A heavier slab of earth slid, pinning his leg. Pain shot through him like fire, but sheer determination kept him going. He twisted and finally managed to wedge the slab enough to free himself. Then he heard it, a faint sound, the crunch of footsteps. Someone was walking near the barn. He yelled and hammered with his last strength. Minutes later, a figure appeared above. The neighbor. Rescue wasn't immediate, but hands dug carefully around him. Slowly, inch by inch, Mark was freed. He collapsed on the grass, gasping, shivering, crying, alive but scarred. He had survived a nightmare that most people only experience in their worst dreams. But Mark's story doesn't end there. After the rescue, he returned to the property and noticed disturbing signs. The soil had collapsed further. Experts said the soil was unique, prone to sudden collapse without warning. Mark had stumbled upon a hidden danger that had gone unnoticed for decades. His story is a testament to the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest, most confined spaces, there is hope, if you hold on. If you were captivated by this story, make sure to subscribe to Mystery Spectrum US for more real-life mysteries and survival stories. Because in the end, life is fragile, unpredictable, and precious. Thanks for watching.